you can say, okay, here's the variables I know that are true. Here's are the things that are outside of my control, which just help you make clear decisions. Any decision, any action is just taking one step at a time. 2016, I was teaching ROTC at Colorado State University, which was a dream job, by the way. I absolutely love that job. And Tom, my husband, at that point had already separated from the Air Force and was pursuing his career in professional golf. He was traveling to PGA Latin America in both the fall and spring of 2016. I had to go TDY to field training for 7 weeks that summer, and I think we counted up being apart for over 40 weeks that year. And
Majority
honestly,
of the year.
the majority of
Yeah.
the year, yeah. And I did not really see staying in the Air Force it getting any better as far as, having more time with my family and my husband. And
Right.
I just felt disconnected. My heart wasn't in it anymore in serving. And I still had that little, seed that had been planted when I talked to Wibbs about, like, why did you go into the reserve? And I had talked to a couple other reservists who just loved the balance of being able to still serve in uniform while also being able to maybe have a civilian career or just be able to have some more flexibility to spend more time and focus on their families during a season of life. And so in 2016, I'm sitting there at my desk like, I just want to go home and take a nap. I'm so tired. I had 2 kids at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just exhausted. But I was like, okay, I think, my husband and I prayed about it. We just like, okay, I think it's time to just take this leap of faith, kind of walk away from what we've known. So now both of us would be out of the Air Force and pivot to something else and like step into that faith decision that for us that the Lord's going to provide and that we wanted to build and focus on the things that were really important to us. So showing that like if family, faith are the most important things, how was I using my time? How was I using my energy? How are we using our money? Did it reflect what was actually important? And so we made that decision. And then I got out in 2017 and separated. And honestly, it was the best decision ever. Now I struggled a ton with my identity afterwards because I just didn't realize that I really kind of was wrapped up in this idea like, oh, I'm an Air Force officer, an academy grad. And those things are like very focused on what you do. And so I had to kind of redefine what success was to me as far as just impacting the people around me. And um,
Well,
yeah.
can I wanna, like, just interject here for a moment because you said a couple of things that I really wanna pull on, before we get too far because I think it really does, impact some of our listeners and some of the experiences that they've had. So the first one, when you talked about that transition, and there was a key word you used, and you used the word freedom. It gave me a freedom to kind of look at things a little differently after having the conversation with your mentor and then, praying about it with your husband. Did you feel like that freedom or just the ability to kind of navigate that did touch on some of the things you really valued that you learned at the academy and as far as decision making and kind of, taking this leap of faith and navigating what's not always known and I don't want to say it's safe, but maybe it's not the safest path, right? Right. So like can you just touch on that a little bit more? Because I think that is something that you know, people question it kind of in that decision making phase.
We were given so many challenges at the academy and things that were unknown and things outside of our control. And you just learn to have an approach where you can not problem solve everything, but just like you can say, okay, here's the variables I know that are true. Here's are the things that are outside of my control, which just help you make clear decisions. And then just stepping into the fact that any decision, any action is just taking one step at a time, and you don't have to have the whole future planned out. And in fact, in the military, you rarely do, right? I always kind of
Truth.
joke with my husband with like the quotes, but like General Patton, like a good plan executed now is better than a perfect plan next week,
Next
right?
week? Yes,
Yes,
yes. I
like
feel good that I was able to contribute a little
good
bit of
job,
part of that quote.
good job, yes. And so but the fact that like just do what's best with the information you have now and take action and don't just sit on it. And I think that, yeah, that gave me that freedom because, yeah, it was a big step and leap of faith because a lot of people think the military is, well, of course, it is a risky job, and especially risky in the sense of our physical harm and a lot of the challenges that we face. But in many ways, it's something we know, and it's something that's very reliable. Um, and it's something that my husband and I had both lived for, 11 years between the academy and now. So it was a big leap of faith as far as, transitioning to the unknown. But we were able to kind of lean on just, hey, it's okay that we don't know everything. We can trust the skills that we gained at the academy and trust the skills that we gained, just in life to move forward. And even with my husband, I'm like, if this golf thing doesn't work out, which by the way, he's been a professional golfer for 10 plus years now. So it's worked out.
It's working out.
It's working out. It's working out. Um,
Absolutely.
he, uh, I fully believe that we are capable of learning anything and doing anything if we choose to set our minds to it, and like we're gonna be okay. Like because of what we learned at the academy and the skills that we garnered, like we're gonna be okay moving forward.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this leadership lesson, watch the full episode by hitting the thumbnail here and subscribe now to get the latest episodes of Long Blue Leadership delivered directly to your YouTube feed or wherever you get your podcasts.